Hello, and welcome to Spirit Alliance. I am Marty Rawson, along with my co-host, Rohan Dixon, and we are now officially a podcast. So I want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be doing kind of a roundtable. So this should be quite interesting and enjoyable. And I hope that these are topics that you will find interesting. So first off, how are you doing today, Rohan?
Great. Thanks, Marty. Always good to be with you here. Always looking forward to chatting with you. And it's quite cool today because I don't know what we're going to be talking about because you've got the topics listed there. I wanted to just come along today and just relax and have a good chat with you. I normally prepare some notes and tune in with Spirit and bring through some stuff to share with people. But today is going to be quite fun because I don't really know what we're going to be talking about. So, so I'm looking forward to hearing what the topics will be and seeing what comes through.
All right. All right. Well, I think this is going to be quite interesting because this is a list of questions that appear to be some of the hot topics that people are searching for and questioning. So I think it's going to be relevant to a lot of folks around the world. So the very first topic that we have is literally the questioning the existence of God and what is the nature of God. Because everybody tends to look at God from the perspective of their own. Well, if they are religious, they look at it through the scope of their own religion. So there's a lot of different views on what, in some ways, on what God is. So what I would like to put that to you, Rohan, is what is your perception with all of the spiritual work that you do and the connections that you have with the divine? How would you define the nature of God?
Thanks, Marty. What a great question. A big question, one of the biggest probably. It's interesting that that question's come up because I was only just having a conversation yesterday with a young guy. I'm in Turkey at the moment in a place called Selçuk, and a young guy that works at the hotel. He's only 22, and he was raised, Muslim, Islamic, but he's opening up to more of the new age sort of spirituality and questioning things himself, which a lot of the younger age are now, tuning into their own intuition, their own belief system, and trying to find their own answers. And so he's taking on quite a few different ideas, really, and searching within, which I think is a wonderful, great thing because we all need to find our own truths. And so for me personally, though, and I was talking to him about this because in Muslim, they believe in Allah. In Christianity, they believe in God. And I believe in consciousness. So I was saying to him, it's all the same thing. We have Allah, we have God, we have consciousness. It's all the same. Consciousness is in with everything. Energy is in with everything. All it is what we can call God, or in other religions, they have a different terminology or name for God. But it's all the same thing. So it's everything. It's the energetic connection of light and energy of everything in the universe. And scientists have proven now, and it's known, that the human biology of our atoms is the same substances as the stars. So that's proof that we are the universe. The universe is us. Everything is the same. Everything is connected. Everything is one. Everything is all it is. That is God, energy, consciousness, source. Yeah, including us and our biology. So yeah, that's how I would, my personal truth or belief is that is what God is.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. You hit on so many things that uh, are just absolutely so perfectly in line with what my experience has proven to me. When you look at our human science, it's very interesting because I noticed that the true quantum physicists are actually starting to come to the conclusions of what the ancient seers of ancient times said. And that is that not only is all is one, but that the universe itself is mental. Okay. Um, Energy is conscious. And absolutely everything throughout this multidimensional multiverse is made of energy. And energy is information, energy is light, and it is all conscious living energy. And that is source. That is the source from which everything comes. And it's really quite beautiful. And for the Christians out there who that might seem kind of funny, they might want to consider the quote in the Bible. I don't remember exactly where it's at, but it says, cleave open a piece of wood and I am there. Okay. And that is the Creator's reassurance that there is nowhere that you cannot look or go. That is not within the Creator. So it's uh, it's really a beautiful thing. And the other aspect of the Creator that I want to really touch on, because I think it's absolutely vital, and that is that the consciousness of the Creator is the highest vibrational frequency of love that exists. And that is that was proven to me when I had my divine intervention and I got to feel the love of home. And I literally remember saying to myself, oh my God, this is what home feels like. We never get to feel this here. And that is the energy of the Creator. And so this is all going to come full circle a little bit later on because there's another question that people have here that's going to fit into this topic just beautifully. So I'm going to stop right there. But yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. And it's funny how everybody who actually does the spiritual work and actually has their own experiences with the divine ends up coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely, Marty. Yeah, it's amazing. I might just throw in about our higher self or our soul, how our soul is also a part of this conversation, you know. So I'd like to get your understanding on this too, but my understanding of our soul or our higher self, the totality of who we are, our totality of our energy and our light, our overall totality of our source of energy, light, which is our soul. And that to me means also that we're not the totality of our experience here on earth in the body. It's an aspect. So it's a spark of the totality of who we are. So we have our overall energy source, our overall light source of energy. And then that is the sum total of all of our experiences and our experiences bring awareness. So it's a totality of our consciousness. And here on earth at the moment, in our present body, in this lifetime, we're a spark of that.
Yes.
We're an aspect of that, not the totality of it, but an aspect or a spark of that totality, having an experience on earth in a human body for the overall consciousness of who we are.
Yes.
Is that how you would sum that up, Marty, as well? Or
Yeah, that is absolutely 100% in line with what I've been shown and what I've been taught. There's a narrative that I love to tell, and I'm going to call it a narrative because I don't think anybody can say that, okay, this is exactly what happened and this is exactly, but I think it fits in perfectly. And that is, once the creator decided to create, okay, to become more than one field of consciousness, it didn't take very long before it decided to create individualized awarenesses that were an aspect of itself. And in this narrative, it says to all of these great divine beings of light that we now call a monad, that were indeed created in the creator's image because they were beings of light. They were true light geometry. And he says, go co-create with me, for I will experience everything you co-create with me simultaneously. But please remember, create out of love, for you must experience everything you create. And so as the countless individualized awarenesses went forth into the void and the eventual universes and everything else, then it is the higher self, the monad, that breaks down into individualized awarenesses even further, so that it can, in a sense, do the same thing at a smaller level than what the creator is. Okay. And so, yeah, the level of soul that incarnates into a physical world of dust is a very small portion of the overall being of light that is your higher self, that is you. Okay. But it is very much, it is just as in tune with the higher self, even though it's unconscious. It is just as in tune with that as the higher self is with the creator. And so the direct link is never, ever broken. You can believe it is, you can feel it is, but you can't actually, that's the one thing you do not have free will over. You can't break your link with source because you are source. And so, it's just that simple.
yeah,
So,
that's exactly my understanding of it as well.
all right, awesome. Okay. Another topic that a lot of people, and I know we've both heard many comments along this line, is the problem of suffering. How can a loving God allow so much suffering in the world? Okay. And this is going to be interesting to see the various viewpoints on this one. So I'm going to let you go ahead and go first.
Okay. Yeah, this is one that I questioned as well and had a lot of difficulty understanding because of the so much negative stuff that goes on around us. The first thing I think of is free will. we come here to learn, grow, and evolve with free will. And I think sometimes people get lost, or they get caught up in the lower vibrations of Earth, and we're in a third dimension where we have a duality of light and dark, positive, negative. So there's the duality of the energies of the higher vibrations and the lower vibrations, which my understanding is doesn't occur in the higher realms, whereas it does here on Earth, which is part of Earth's evolution to evolve and grow and move into the age that we're moving into now of New Earth. So those lower vibrations are starting to shift to higher vibrations, which a lot of spiritual people are doing through the work that they're doing at the moment. So I guess the suffering is because people get caught up in the lower vibrations, because we do have those two aspects. We do have those, the duality of the dark and the light, or the positive, the negative, the love and the fear. Actually, that's what it's all based around, is love and fear. So, and that's just a part of the Earth's construct at the moment, is love and fear for evolutional reasons, is my understanding. And so we have the suffering because there's so much fear-based energies alongside the love. And there is actually a lot more love-based energies on Earth now, more so than there has been in past eras, darker ages, and a lot of war times and things like that we've been through. A lot more light, a lot more angelic realm light here. So there's a lot more love and light coming to Earth during this shift into New Earth.
Mm-hmm.
However, the fear-based energies are still here. So the suffering is based around that fear base.
Yep.
So understanding that there is a duality, and that if you're experiencing suffering, it's somehow based around a situation or an event or something that you're feeling or experiencing within your experience of your reality, that's somehow linked to fear.
Mm-hmm.
And then recognizing it, understanding it's there, but then being able to change and shift because then you're changing into a higher dimensional frequency and vibration from the lower vibration of fear into love. And I think that's what we're experiencing big time on Earth during this shift into New Earth, is that shift of moving away from the fear into love.
Exactly. Yep.
And so there'll be a lot more light and a lot more love and high vibrational energy experiences in New Earth. It's just that we still have the lower vibration of fear and suffering, which is shifting. So it's just a part of Earth's evolution in the past history, which is now moving away from that. But we still have it. So we just have to work with it the best we can without letting it affect us. So it affects our health or our life situation.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. That is right along the same lines again as the way I see it. We incarnate into Earth as it has been in the third dimension. And we have to remember that Earth has been controlled by, shall we say, some very unconscious beings for many thousands of years. And they've created an environment here where, as long as they can keep everybody in conflict and fear and that, then they can feed off of that energy. And they're very good at doing that, obviously. But Spirit knew that there would always be an end to this era, and that's where we're at now. But the challenge here has been, can you come into a world of unconscious spiritual amnesia and work through the fields of negativity to come back and to realize that you are an aspect of the divine, that you are an aspect of the Creator, and can you work your way back into unity consciousness? And that is what the ancient masters proved, that it is possible. And throughout all areas of the earth, there have been great masters that have done that. And it's really a beautiful thing. And as you say, now we have the entire world is shifting in this consciousness. The thing that has always gotten me is I don't understand why people can't remember that humanity has free will. Just like you started out with, humanity has always had free will. And we are the ones, now, yes, we have been messed with. We have been basically brainwashed into fear and anxiety and all of this. But nevertheless, it is humans that have done this to one another. It is humans that created all of the negativity that exists on this planet. Yes, we were coerced, but nevertheless, it is still our responsibility. You can't fix anything you don't own. And so until you own your own responsibility for your own actions and your own behaviors, regardless of why you did them, you can't fix it. So I believe it's time for humanity to grow up and quit trying to blame the Creator or this mythical devil they talk about for what they have done. And so as humanity starts to grow up and actually raise its consciousness to the point that we start actually having that internal curiosity of, no, there is a Creator, and getting to know the divine. That is what is taking place right now. And that is what is going to help us create this new world. So I do, it may sound kind of harsh when I say humanity needs to grow up, but at the same time, I believe that's the truth. We can't quit blaming, we can't keep blaming others for what we have done. We need to clean up our own mess and get on with it. I mean, let's fix it. Let's do it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to fix it. We didn't come here to fit in with the unconscious part of it. We came here to fix it and to help create a new earth with heaven on earth. And luckily, that is what's happening. So that's the way I.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, Marty. Very much in line, and great advice too, because that's what's happening on Earth, this big shift. And I think when I was starting out talking about the free will, I think what happens is when we the experience on earth is for us to come here to spiritually learn, grow, and evolve, and become self-aware. Become self-aware because we have free will. We get here with amnesia, you were talking about before. We forget everything, and then we have to sort of start over again, trying to learn about ourselves and how we fit into this big picture of everything, the universe, who we are, why we're here on earth, what is our soul. The first question is God. What is God? So we come here and then we're given a choice, and with the free will, and because we have amnesia, we forget. So some people will start to remember and start to learn and understand that love and positivity and the light and our connection to that is the path to return home. But then there are other people that do get lost in it all, or don't know how to navigate it all, or getting influenced by the life experience in either positive or negative ways, but are still sort of stumbling through, trying to find their way through life and understand it all. And that resonated with me when I was younger. I was just trying to get a grasp and an understanding of how it all works. And so now, though, that everything that we've been talking about with New Earth and the shift, I think it's just an understanding that we just have to be aware that there are the two dualities, the love and the fear, and to choose love.
Yep. Okay. What I would like to add into this is maybe look at things from a very much higher perspective. And before I go into that, I want to congratulate you because you naturally flowed right into the next topic, which was the meaning and purpose of why is humanity here. And so you answered that beautifully. And I would like to start from the higher perspective of we already talked about how just a small aspect of your higher self is what comes down to incarnate into these lives. And when you're in these lives, this physical world seems so totally real and permanent, and this is your reality. You don't know really much of anything else until you start to experience things. But from the perspective of the higher dimensions of your higher self, coming into a physical life of 70 to 100 years is such a short blip of time. It's not even a drop in the bucket. And, the ancient Vedic teachings talk about how this physical reality is the illusion. And what they're meaning by that is that the higher dimensions that are perfect and eternal, that is the truth of higher dimensional consciousness and life, and really all that is. We basically go to sleep in the higher dimensions. A portion of us goes to sleep and comes down to inhabit this physical body so that we can have lessons and experiences that we couldn't have in the higher dimensions. And so all of these different souls that are incarnating are bringing back tremendous amounts of real information and real experience that can't be gained in the higher dimensions. And so what we need to understand is there's a quote out of A Course in Miracles that says, nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. And that sums it up so perfectly, because we try to look at all of this as if it's permanent, and it's not. This is just a small blip on the screen. And when you go home back into the light, you're going to find value even in the painful things that you experienced, because you did learn a lot through them. And so it's going to be, your perspective is going to change immensely. And, this is, as I've said many times, the emotional university of the universe. And there is probably 1,000,000 years worth of growth in the higher dimensions that can take place in one physical lifetime here. And so it's really quite a grand scale as far as what's really happening. But when we talk about what is humanity's goal, what is our purpose? Well, your purpose is to live, to experience lessons, and ultimately to see if you can attain unity consciousness with the divine. That's the ultimate goal. And I mean, what greater thing could you do? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Marty. I'd also throw in sharing as well. So from my experience, we're here to learn, grow, and evolve as a soul, as consciousness.
Right.
But we're also here to share, or to help others shine or expand their consciousness as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But when we do that for ourselves, we do that naturally for others anyway. Because we're light, when there's more people together collaborating or sharing, then there's more expansion of light. So it's just one thing, just something else I wanted to throw in there as well. We were talking, and also with the higher self, Marty, that's the monad you're talking about earlier, the overall light energy source of who we are, which is always connected to the overall source of all that is, of God, or however religious term you use for God, or your belief. In many different indigenous cultures, they called it Great Spirit. The Native American Indians called it Great Spirit.
Yeah.
And there'd be a word or terminology in different tribes and indigenous cultures and religions all around the world, but it's all the same thing.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, it's funny to me because the native practices were, in fact, in my opinion, because I've studied a lot of them, they were actually living what the religions, a lot of organized religions, only talked about. And I don't mean to be insulting to anybody, but it's the truth. The native peoples of the world, not just of Native American, but the native peoples of the world have always had that actual connection to a living earth and to the fact that life is really all that exists. And they honored life. They honored that. And it's, to me, I think that a lot of those ancient ways of living and being are going to come back as a natural aspect of higher consciousness. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, okay, that kind of leads us directly into the next question, which is, what do you believe are the main spiritual practices and maybe the best meditation practices for peace of mind? and for growth.
Okay. So this is something that I'm using in my life at the moment because I do quite a lot of meditation. There's different meditations you can use. There's sound meditation, which is quite good. You can make up a playlist on Spotify or Apple Music and use your headphones. Just make up a playlist of really soothing sounds of either nature or soft meditation music, whatever sounds good to you. Some people use rain. So you can make up a playlist like that and just sit with your eyes closed and listen to music, which is a beautiful meditation experience. There's also pranayama meditation, which is a Buddhist and yogic breathing meditation where you sit with your eyes closed and only focus on the inhale and exhale of the breath. So focusing on this point here, just below, in between, just on top of your lip there below your nose, and just feeling and focusing on the breath going in and out of your nostrils. And if you start to drift off into thought and get distracted or attached to a thought which will take you on a path within your mind, then you're just coming back and centering on the breath. And that's the key with all meditations, is observing and recognizing when you're drifting off into thought and following thoughts or engaging thought patterns, is to coming back into a focus of whatever it is you're focusing on, whether it's the music, the breath. So that's two forms. And then there's a form of meditation, which is mantra meditation or transcendental meditation, which is when you're repeating a mantra. The transcendental meditation course, they will create a mantra for you, which is your personal mantra, and you repeat that over and over, or you can make up your own affirmation. So you would sit and repeat that in your mind or out loud, whatever works for you. And again, if you're drifting off into thought or following engaging thoughts, you'd come back to that repetitive mantra. That's three meditation types that I can think of. So I guess getting yourself into a routine each day helps. So waking up with an intention of straight away taking some deep breaths of oxygen to get the oxygen flowing through your body, drinking lots of water and hydrating straight away in the morning because you haven't been drinking for 8 hours while you've been asleep. So it's really important. That wakes you up as well, getting fresh hydration. Instead of caffeine, which can give highs and lows, just drinking lots of water in the morning wakes you up and gets you going. And having a routine, whether you start your meditation processes before you start your day or at the end of the day. I find at the start of the day is always best in the morning or at night as well. You can do it as many times throughout the day as you like. 20 minutes is good, even 10 minutes is good. 10 to 20 minutes, 15 minutes is a good meditation, longer if possible. And just some positive sort of health conscious exercises and wellness, whatever that means to you, is very, very beneficial for your wellness and spiritually as well.
All right. Awesome answers, man. That is beautiful. The only thing that I can think of to add to this is meditation is usually a form of quieting the monkey mind and quieting the chatter. I think of prayer as talking to the source, talking to the creator, and meditation as listening for the reply. And if I can quiet my own mind enough that I'm actually centered and at peace and in a positive frame of mind, then I can listen to the thoughts that might be given to me. Sometimes you might hear somebody say something to you. You want to try to go into that stillness so you can get the response from the divine. And people really need to remember that. And it can come in a lot of different ways. And many times the thoughts that you have are not necessarily your own. And if you pay attention to them, you will see that they are worded in a way as if somebody's speaking to you. And that's because somebody is. And, it's your own team. It could be your own soul. It's your own the beings that love you and are here to help guide you, because we're never alone, no matter how much we feel that way. And the simplest way to really get into that space is to try to remember to be love. Just get yourself into that state of love. And you don't just start out by jumping from neutrality, let alone negativity, into love. You might want to start by thinking of all the things that you're grateful for, thinking of all the things that you appreciate in your life. And if you have a lot of spiritual work, you will naturally start thinking about all of the beautiful experiences that you've already had with the divine. Maybe if you are just starting out, you're thinking about all of the things that you love in your life, your family, your pets, your hobbies, the things that you actually love and enjoy doing. And everybody has things that they are grateful for. And you use gratitude as a stepping stone into love. And you'll be amazed at how much better you will start to feel and how much you will raise your vibrational frequency. And when you start doing that, make it a habit and start doing that on a regular basis, then all of your meditations and pranayamas and everything else, all of that is going to really start, you're going to start seeing the rewards of all of that. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice, Marty. I might just share how it works for spirit to be able to communicate with us in meditation, which I've found is through the very relaxed brainwave states.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're meditating and we're starting to really slow down and relax and go into that still, calm, quiet, very peaceful state, our brainwaves are going into the alpha and theta state. In the delta state, that's when we're asleep. But our spirit guides and our experiences with the higher realms can communicate us in those brainwave states of alpha, theta, and delta. So they can communicate with us in our dreams in the delta state. But when we're meditating, we're generally in that theta state, which is in between conscious, awake, and asleep, sort of in between. It's when we're dozy, but we're semi-conscious. So that's when we can have, in meditation, experiences with our spirit guides, our higher self, angels, ascended masters, star nation beings, and whoever wants to communicate to us in the higher realms and come through to us to communicate through our psychic senses of seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing. And so when we're meditating, it's key to be able to communicate with spirit. So meditation and stillness and quietness and calmness and going into those very relaxed brainwave states is really the key and the doorway access, and opens up those connections for us. And then the gamma state is a heightened state of awareness, which is also being able to experience that in meditation. So meditation's either when we are, some people think meditation, you need to be completely of no thought, no mind, of nothing, which can occur and is an amazing experience. But we can also contemplate things and have a focus of a question we have, or focusing on something to gain some consciousness, some awareness, a higher perspective, and answer and understanding to something in our life. So meditation is either stillness, quietness, no thought, peace within, or sitting in a state of heightened awareness to gain an understanding of a focus that we're focusing on. Not many focuses, because that's when there's lots of different thoughts and paths and distractions. But if we have one focus, that's also a type of meditation.
Yes.
A Buddhist, I did a 10-day meditation retreat in India a few months ago. And that's what they were talking about, you know, that the meditation in Buddhist meditation, it's not about no thought, it's about observing the thought and contemplating and observing your focuses. So it's important when people meditate to have that observation of your thought patterns and processes that's going on through your mind, and not engaging them and getting attached to them. Just to observe them and know they're there, recognize them, and let them pass. Just let them flow through and stay in that centered focus, or of the breath, the music, or the mantra, which helps.
All right. That is absolutely all very true. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that I wanted to add to that is that in Ayurveda, we literally teach different meditations for the different body types, because not everybody is the same. We're not built the same mentally, emotionally, physically, that we are all unique individuals, and we have unique constitutions, body constitutions. And because of that, where some people might need to quiet their minds, other people might need to do a walking meditation. Some people might need the ones that you described. It's really interesting when you start looking into it, because we truly are all unique individuals. So to anybody out there that's listening to this, don't give up because the first meditation thing you tried doesn't work. Please keep going and find what works for you, because you are a unique individual, and there is something. People have been doing this for 10,000 years at least. So there's something out there that will work for you. And I just want people to understand that, because it's, you know, it really does. Meditation is a huge key to all of this. The pranayama, there's so many different types of pranayama, it isn't funny, and they have very specific purposes as well. So I think in a lot of ways we've covered a lot of the spiritual practices, which was one of the next topics, as far as how to what spiritual practices and that and that actually work for their personal growth and transformation. one of the aspects of this is if you can develop a relationship with the divine and have your own experiences with the divine, nobody can ever take that away from you. And one of the main things that will prove to you that the divine is active in your life is when you don't have a solution to a situation in your life. Just have the faith and turn that over to the Creator. Say, you know what? I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do. Okay, I would appreciate all the help that you could give me, whether it's through ideas that you can give me or whatever, but I'm turning this over to you for the highest good of all concerned. And if you do that and you really mean that in your heart, you'll be amazed at the miracles that can happen with almost anything in your life. So that's kind of going all in, but you can't do this halfway. So that's one of the things that I wanted to add as far as personal growth, transformation, and spiritual practices go.
Yeah, great, Marty. I just thought of a couple of other meditation, which is sort of other meditation practices people can use, like art. There's certain creative talents people can use that takes them into a very quiet, meditative state, like drawing, painting, even just sitting at the beach and listening to the waves crash, the sound. So there are other things that you can use where you don't have to sit and actually do the posture of meditation, but there's other things you can bring into your life. Anything that takes you away from the distractions of the world or the noise of the world or the busyness of the world or thought or overthinking, anything that's going to help you to slow down and become calm and relaxed and at peace within yourself is a meditative process. A lot of people, and that a lot of creative processes too, connect you to your own intuition and your higher self.
Yeah.
Because people who are good artists or drawings, they'll be in that flow creating a art piece, but they'll be in a meditative state where they're just in a very focused flow of peace while they're doing their art, but they're also connecting to their intuition and their higher self to create it. So it's taking them into a higher state of consciousness.
Yes.
Their consciousness or connecting them to their own intuition and higher self to create whatever it is they're creating. Musicians do it when they write music, write songs. They're creating, but also in a meditative state of flow of creating the song through the words of the inspirational intuition that's coming through them. So creation is very powerful way of a different type of meditative process, but also a creative process of getting us connected to our intuition and our higher self to flow from the heart or flow from within. Because when we're creating, it's coming from our soul, Yeah, so
it's funny because I've even had instances where I've had incredible epiphanies while I was mowing the lawn. Okay, mowing the lawn doesn't take a whole lot of active brain power. You're pushing a lawnmower, and there've been a few times where I've just been in such a state of the flow that I've all of a sudden got these great epiphanies that were like, oh wow, that's okay, now I understand, or That's so cool, that sort of thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good example. It puts you into a focused flow where you're not you're not getting influenced or distracted by other things that are going on in your life, and you're into a very calm, centered place of focus.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so let's go to one more topic, which is a lot of people are asking what happens to us when we die.
Wow, that's a big one. That's one that I asked. Geez. Well, my understanding or my intuition is our body is just our vehicle, and our light, which is the aspect or spark of our monad, our overall energy source, our soul, higher self, um, leaves the body. So our body perishes and passes, dies, and then our light leaves the body and returns to source, to the light, to the overall energy source of where we've come from, connected to God or overall source. And yeah, that's how I understand it. I've read a book by Dr. Michael Newton, Journey of Souls, which you've read,
Yeah,
and a lot of that made sense to me. Some of it I think was different to the way you interpreted or experienced.
yeah,
Do you remember, Marty, some of your experiences in the afterlife before you came here?
yeah,
I don't. However, it made a lot of sense to me is that when we die, our light leaves our body and returns. And then there's a healing process because we've been here in lower vibrational earth and gone through a lot of experiences on earth, some good and some not so good. So there's a healing process that takes place. Our spirit guides and angels are with us, assisting us in that healing and of our light returning, going home. And we have a life overview or a life review of our life that we've just had and of all of the things that we experienced, learnt, didn't learn, did well, didn't do so well, and things like that before we reincarnate again, whether it's here to Earth or somewhere else in the cosmos. Yeah, and people experience, a lot of people who have had near-death experiences, NDEs, they all describe that, seeing a tunnel of light and going through a tunnel of light. And some people experience seeing their ancestors, their past loved ones, their mum and dad, and so on, their family members, meeting their spirit guides, seeing angels, having a heightened experience. Some of them have a big awakening and understand their purpose. They remember why they came to Earth in the first place. And then when they come out of that near-death experience, are able to live out more of their higher purpose. So, yeah, that's some of the understanding that I've got from when we die and where we go and what happens to us. Yeah.
all right, all right. Yeah, I would absolutely agree. To me, there is no such thing as death because the way death is used on this planet seems to be a final darkness, a final blackness, an end to consciousness, and that is in no way what I have come to see. Basically, you are freed from a body that is actually 2 sizes too small for you anyway. And you go home into the love and the light. And yeah, you do have a life review and you go through that. And that is to compare, okay, this is the lessons that I planned for my life, and how well did I do? How many of them did I complete successfully? What was the level of soul growth that I attained in that one? And, you move on. And the thing that I really want people to understand is there is no such thing as death, because who you are is actually the soul that is animating the body that you're walking around in. Okay. And so as far as that goes, nothing can bother that. Nothing can harm that. So you don't die, you simply go home. You simply change dimensions. Your consciousness expands, and everything is in the peace, the love, and the light of the higher dimensions. Okay. So it's not necessarily, such a bad thing. Now, the one caveat that I would say to that is that if you are somebody who is extremely negative and dark, okay, doing things, if you truly believe that this physical world and the physical trappings that belong with it are literally all that is, then you can choose that. And that is when some people may choose to not go home into the light. They might choose to stay here. Okay. And that is not a permanent situation either. I've helped countless beings go home that just didn't have the understanding of what was really going on. And so it's kind of an interesting situation, because what you believe and what you think, there's an old saying of your thoughts, perceptions, and belief create your reality. Absolutely. And that is true. And so you there, and it's not just that, your thoughts, perceptions, and beliefs, but also your vibrational frequency plays into that, because you don't have to even believe in God. You don't have to believe any doctrine. You don't have to believe anything. But if you are a good person that does good in life and tries to share love, as you so thoughtfully brought up, if you're the type of person that does this, you're going to have a very successful life. And when you go home, you're going to be very happy. Okay. You're going to say, wow, I did good, and the creator is as well. So that's
Yeah, amazing,
my
amazing, Mark. Incredible. I love that. When you were talking about there is no death, because we're energy can't be destroyed,
right,
it be transformed.
right.
And that's what we are. We're energy. So it's a continuation of our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go home, and also everybody that's described a near-death experience when they died and came back to life, when they came back, they said it was the most beautiful, incredible, peaceful experience they've ever had.
Right.
And they didn't actually, some of them didn't want to come back.
Right. Right.
Because it was so blissful and so beautiful and so peaceful at so yeah, And people are so fearful of death, but there's nothing to be fearful of, because it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And we're going home to the light, and we'll evolve and continue however we're supposed to.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, that's beautiful. So I think we've actually covered just about everything that we have. And I think that's a good place to start wrapping this up. So I want to thank you for sharing here with me today. And if you'd like to give out your contact information.
Yeah, sure, Marty. Anyone that wants to catch up, always love meeting people and sharing stories and talking all things spiritual. Absolutely love it. So if you do want to reach out, my contact email's best, and that's rohdixon@hotmail.com.
All right. Fantastic. And again, my name is Marty Rawson. I am the author of the book, It Doesn't Have to Be This Way, A Spirit Alliance. You can find a Spirit Alliance podcast on YouTube, and you can find the book on Audible and Amazon. My email address is aspiritalliance@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing comments and questions and anything else. So until next time, may you all walk in peace, love, and light. And I look forward to seeing you next time.